Hi, have you ever struggled with keeping kids' attention in class or in junior church? Here is 10 tips to help keep the kids' attention. Let's get right into it. Hi, Joshua Wells here from the Parkside Baptist Church, the children's director there, and also the bus director. Enjoy working with kids, very much so. Been working with kids for now 20 years, and I want to share with 10 tips, really quick, things that have helped me in the last 20 years of working with kids. Now, keep in mind, I didn't get all this from my head or even from my experience. I've had several people teach me, and so here's some things that I've learned from different folks, okay? Here we go, keeping kids' attention. Number one is simply use attention grabbers. You know, they've got attention grabbers all over them right now. They've got TV, they've got video games, they've got the cell phones, they've got a lot of things that grab their attention. So you need attention grabbers in your junior church, in your Sunday school class, in your class of school. You need attention grabbers. Now, am I saying you need a TV? You need all these things? No, I'm not. But you need something that will grab the attention, such as number one, underneath attention grabbers is object lessons. I like object lessons. There's going to be several of them in the videos that we've given out. And so object lessons are great illustrations, great things that will get their attention. They're great attention grabbers. Also on that, visuals. Visuals. A picture's worth what? 1,000 words. You got it right. So use pictures. Now, obviously, with TVs, that makes it really simple to kind of display the pictures that you want to show and different things like that. Maybe the songs, maybe the words of the song, something like that for the fun songs that you're doing. Maybe a game is up on the TV as well. So, but still, visual aids are amazing. Maybe you don't have that kind of technology in your junior church. Maybe draw something out, print something off. Please don't copyright. We use Becca flashcards a lot. They have great illustrations for the Bible stories and whatnot, so those are great. How about illustrations, stories? They're attention grabbers. They really are. So therefore, try to use attention grabbers, such as illustrations. Maybe it's a story of something that happens in your life according to what you're teaching. Maybe it's a story that's soft and heartwarming that goes along with your lesson. Maybe it's an action story that goes along with your Bible lesson. So maybe illustrations. How about this? Maybe it's illusions. Maybe, not magic, but tricks. Something that will happen in class that will wow the kids to re-grab their attention. Attention grabbers. Number one was attention grabbers. Number two, use repeat after me. Okay, like you say what I say. Say what I say. Okay, anyway, so that works really well. By the way, they say that the key to learning is repetition. So therefore, repeat it. Maybe do short phrases repeating from you. So you start it, they repeat. Maybe you're having some struggles with some kids paying attention in the back. Holler it out, you say what I say. And like 4 or 5 in the front, 10, and it adds to each time you do it. And then you go into a teaching of a song, doing a repeat song. You can do all sorts of stuff. And that re-grabs the attention of the kids, putting you back in charge, because who are they repeating? They're repeating you. Okay, so that really does help. It works in a lot of different situations using the you say what I say and repetition there. Number 3, use a CTA. A CTA. What is a CTA? A call to action. Randomly do something or ask something that would require them to respond. Okay, such as if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And like 50 kids clap out of your 100, maybe if you only have 50 of their attention, but the rest of the kids are like, why did they just clap? What just happened? What did I miss? Okay, you don't even have to sing the whole song, okay? But you did that portion. It was a call to action. You did something that caused them to respond. Maybe, who's better, the boys or the girls? Okay, and you got their attention because they were yelling who was better, the boys or the girls, if you're having that kind of competition. Maybe it's eyeballs, click. What is that, Brother Josh? That's where you teach them that when you say eyeballs, they say click. They're looking away. So tell them, all right, everybody, look away, look away, look away. When I say eyeballs, you say click, and you put your eyes on me. Ready? Here we go. Eyeballs, click. Eyeballs, click. And they do that, okay? And it works very well. I've used that every once in a while. How about this? Who's better, the boys or the girls? We just did that one. How about the yelling ball? The yelling ball. I like the yelling ball. It's a call to action. You have a ball, you throw it in the air, and when it's in the air, they yell. Please don't let them scream. They yell to the top of their lungs, and then when it lands, they're quiet again. Okay, all the way up. With their volume down, it's quiet. It's like an automatic mute when it hits the hand. Okay, you can give away 1,000 points to the side that does it the best. Up and back in the hand. As soon as it lands, they're quiet. Or you can fake them. you don't really throw it up, never leaves your hand. They start to yell, it's like, it's still there, okay? But anyway, you can, I got you. Have some fun with that. That's the yelling ball. Maybe it's something along those lines, but it's a call to action. Works really well. Number 4, be clear and specific. You're dealing with kids, and kids don't do well when things change right in the middle of things. Maybe you change the rules in the middle of the service. Maybe you change this, change that. They don't do well with that, okay? So something I've learned is be clear and specific from the start. Go over your rules as close to the beginning of the service as you possibly can and make them as clear and as simple as possible. On that note, make sure that your rules are plain and simple. You don't need, okay, we were at one church, they had 66 rules on the wall. There's just, I mean, it was like more than God gave. We had all these rules up on the wall, and it was just like do's, don'ts. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't even follow all those rules. I don't even know what they all say. So, I mean, you can't even read them from sitting down. So do the best you can to keep it short, sweet, to the point. Sit up straight. Sit up straight. Hands in your lap. And no talking. If they're sitting up straight, then they're not slouching down. If they're sitting up straight, they're not falling asleep. If they're sitting up straight, they're not kicking the seat in front of them. They're sitting up straight. Rule number 2 is hands in your lap. What's number 2? Hands in your lap. Have them repeat it so they know it, and they know it by saying it, okay? Sitting up straight, hands in your lap. If their hands in their lap, they're not slapping the person beside them. If their hands in their lap, they're not picking on somebody. If their hands in their lap, they're not picking their own nose, okay? Sorry. They're keeping their hands to themselves. Rule number 3 is no talking. Well, it's kind of hard to do something bad with your mouth if you're not talking. So do the best you can to explain the rules up front, okay? We have a fun rule, too, that it's not required to obey, but it's big, cheesy grin, okay? If they're not smiling, I don't make it, or they don't win the quiet seat, or earn the quiet seat prize. Not that it's won, everything's earned. But anyhow, so it is a rule that they can obey or disobey. We have a lot of fun with it, okay? On Oscar and other puppets do as well. But anyhow, so do the best you can with earning rewards is next. Earning rewards. So use an award system. Number 5, use an award system. What you give attention to, what you award your attention to, is what they are going to adhere to get your attention. For instance, majority of your attention goes to the child that decided to be bad during the service. So you as the leader in the front, you're getting on to this kid. The kid over here that decided to be good gets no attention. We do this to our fault. So many times I've seen this. We give all this attention over here. He doesn't get any. So he thinks he has to be bad to get your attention. He says, all right, I guess in order to get my teacher's attention, I guess to get her attention, I've got to be good. No, I got to be bad? Huh? That doesn't make sense to them. So do the best you can to give attention to the good. The more you give attention to the good, the bad will say, I want their attention too. Look what all he's getting. You might get a few that are like, that's not fair, okay, or something along those lines, okay? And then you explain, rewards come to those that are doing good. Just do better, okay? We're moving on. Okay, so use an award system. Maybe that you have a competition, okay? So you give awards for that. Whoever wins that competition, maybe you have a game, give awards to that. Maybe you have boys versus girls, give awards to the team that wins that day. Don't just say, yay, the boys won, pride, whoop-de-doo, okay? No. Award that. I need to do a video on how to get free snacks. We get literally over $1,000 worth of snacks donated every week. Okay, so I need to put one together. Look for that one later, okay? But anyway, number 5 was use an award system. Quiet seats still work, y'all. Well, it worked when I was a kid. It's not going to work anymore. It does work, especially if you build it up. It is what you make it, okay? And I try to use the 5-to-1 ratio. If I have 5 kids, I need at least 1 quiet seat prize. If I have 10 kids, I need at least 2 quiet seat prizes. Therefore, I have 100 kids in junior church, I need 20 quiet seat prizes. Yep, that's a lot. If you have 100 kids and you only have 1 person on each side winning a quiet seat prize, that means there's a 99% chance that they're not going to get it. Okay, more of a 98% because you have 2 prizes. But still, no. Do the best you can to try to make the ratio better. Okay, there's a 5-to-1 shot. They're going to get a prize for sitting up straight with the hands lap, no talking. And try to rotate. If you've got a kid that's winning it all the time, add a quiet seat prize. Yeah, add a quiet seat. He still deserves it. Okay, or she still deserves it. If you're adding a quietcy prize, it gives somebody else the opportunity to also deserve it. So therefore, maybe up the ratio if you need to. If you got kids doing very well, still reward that. I mean, they're doing good. Give them a reward. It's so cheap, especially if you're getting it for free. So still use an award system. Next, number six, use your voice. Now, I'm not saying yell at a kid. Please don't do that. I'm 100% against that. You don't have to yell at the kid to get their attention. You don't have to yell at the kid to keep their attention. I'm talking about fluctuating your voice from highs to lows, from soft to loud or loud to soft. Okay, what I mean by high to low. You're way up here, yeah, all right. Oh yeah, man, that was great. You're doing a high voice, low voice. Okay, fluctuate your voice from highs to lows, louds to soft. I think this one's self-explanatory, but maybe you're telling the story and you're coming up to the climax, and the boy walked around the corner, and all of a sudden there was his sister, and she yelled to the top of her lungs, because she was scared. Because her brother was right there. But anyhow, use your voice. Number seven, learn their names. Learn their names. This is so important, y'all. Learn their names. If you went to a junior church when you were a kid and nobody ever used your name, you would think nobody knew you. Is that too much to say? So therefore, when you go to these kids' class and you're the teacher, you should know their names, okay? It really does help. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you have to call out a kid that's doing wrong by name, although it does help if you know their name. But still, as you're teaching the lesson, maybe you're starting to lose this kid's attention. Maybe you're telling the story and all of a sudden Peter stepped on the water and his foot didn't sink. So he stepped out and put his other foot on the water. And boys and girls, he was completely standing on the water. Well, isn't that neat, Elijah? Goodness gracious, he's walking on water. Susan, can you imagine that? Okay, I used their names. I didn't make fun of them. I didn't even point them out necessarily, but I made it as if I was on a one-on-one story time. Okay? So use their names. It re-grabs their attention when you use their name. Or maybe they're like, oops, I wasn't listening. What did he just say? But still, that works really well. Doesn't that sound good, Elijah? Doesn't that sound good, Peter? And just simple as that. Okay, number 8, know your students' limit. Know your students' limit. Maybe their attention span is the limit. Maybe their attention span is 5 minutes. Okay, well then know that. And use that to your advantage, that you know how these kids learn. Therefore, if this kid's attention span, you lose them after 5 minutes, that means you have 5 minutes to get the point across. You're going to have to switch to something else that gets them to do something else. And then maybe you have a 15-minute lesson, for instance. And I hate having to do this, but the younger the kids are, the more you have to do this, okay? So maybe their limit is 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to teach. Then you're going to pull in an object lesson. Then you're going to pull in a song that has to do with your lesson. Then you're going to pull in something else, okay? It doesn't have to be 2 or 3 things. It could be one thing. Then you go back to that 5 minutes. Then, you see what I'm saying? Then you go to something else and you come back and you got your 15 minutes in of teaching of that Bible lesson, but you were able to divide it up into 5-minute segments of having them sit still again, okay? So therefore, try to learn your kids' limits. Maybe their limit is sitting still. Okay, so every once in a while, randomly, have them stand. Not just the child, but every child. Okay, I like using the attention, and they stand to their feet real fast. And you have a competition with it. Whoever does it the fastest. Okay, not necessarily treating your class like a military class. Okay, but the kids like that. I don't know why, but they like that, especially the competition part. But anyway, have all the kids stand. Maybe having them stand for a stretch and tell them, all right, stretch to the right, to the right. That's my right. You're that. Your right's that way. Okay, there we go. Oh, and then stretch to the left, and maybe it's just a fun stretch, and maybe you're having them do so. But still, know your kids' limits. Okay, number nine, put yourself in their shoes. For instance, would you want to be in your class if you were a kid? Now, I'm not necessarily, by putting yourself in their shoes, I'm not saying act like a kid. I'm not saying be childish and, you don't have to bring yourself to that level necessarily, but you can bring yourself to the level of understanding. Okay, when I was a child, would I have understood what I'm trying to teach? How can I put this on the lower shelf so everybody can grab it? What can I do to put this to where every ear understands? Because this is kids. You are dealing with kids, okay? You're not dealing with teens or adults. You're dealing with kids. Therefore, try to put yourself in their shoes. Okay, for instance, Did you and your friends, not just you and your friends, would y'all have wanted to pay attention to the grown-up you teaching? Would y'all have wanted to pay attention to the grown-up you singing a song, playing a game, whatever the case is? Would y'all have wanted to pay attention? If not, what can you do that would better that situation? What can you do? Well, maybe it's some of these things. Maybe not, okay? Maybe you have some ideas that you've done over the last several years, or maybe even less. But still, you've done some things that has helped you as a teacher. Maybe put those in the comment. Maybe that can help somebody else. That's what all this is about anyway, is helping people. Maybe helping teachers, maybe helping a worker in a class. But still, put yourself in their shoes. Last but not the least, I can promise you that, is lead by example. For instance, you're asking them for their attention, right? But you don't give attention to the class. So lead by example. How much time and effort did you put forth preparing for the class? That's giving attention on the teacher's side. I spend 8 hours during the week preparing for junior church. From the slides we do some video work, the schedule. Every single junior church worker gets a schedule, and I try to have it done by Wednesday. That way they know what they're doing before Sunday. But anyhow, if they're teaching, they know that a week or two in advance. But anyhow, so the best I can do is by Wednesday, because that's when I print everything that I try to print. Anyway, so by Wednesday they get a schedule, and I send them a picture of the schedule. I'll put it up on the screen. And so it shows who's doing what, when. And it's just a basic nonstop schedule. There's a time slot for each item. That way they know how long they have, or if they've overcome something, they've taken over time of somebody else, they can apologize. But anyhow, they have that time frame there, okay? But leading by example also goes to in class. So let's say that you have a substitute teacher. Maybe you're in a junior church and somebody else is teaching at the moment, and you're back here sitting on your cell phone. Are you leading by example? Well, I've got to catch up on Instagram. Well, I've got to catch up on my text. Then go to another room. Go to another room. If you have to do something that's out of the bounds of the rules that you're giving in class, don't let it be seen. Okay, go to another room. Go to your car. But that's a bad example. Exactly. You shouldn't have to leave unless you're hitting the restroom. Okay? Here's what I love doing. I love sitting beside the kid and saying, hey, I'm going to listen better than you. I want to sit up straight better than you. Hey, let's have a staring contest. Not with each other, but a staring contest to see who can watch the teacher better. Ready? On your mark, get set, go. I'm doing better. Okay? Have a competition with that. Sometimes I had to get on to workers for talking, okay, to each other in the back. Spread out your workers. I hate doing this, but I've done it several times. I reserved seats for my workers, and they were required to sit in those seats, and they were sporadically placed between the kids. No workers are allowed to sit beside each other in junior church. And this helps so much. That way they're not distracted with each other. They're working on keeping the kids quiet. And especially if the teaching is going on, I don't let any workers stand up in the front. They're sitting up straight. Their hands are in their lap. They're not talking. Maybe this is kind of out of bounds, but they're doing exactly what we've required of the kids. Why? Because they're leading by example. Junior church is just as simple as a children's portion of church. It's still church, so we still listen. We still pay attention. We're leading by example. And I hope this lesson was a help to you. And if you have other tips that you would like others to see, put them down in the comments. And try and stay clean, obviously, but do the best that you can to put something down there that might be a help to somebody else. Hey, if it was a help to you, hit the like button. And if you can, subscribe. That helps us as well. And look forward to a wonderful time in the ministry with these kiddos. Do a great job. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.